there, I'm Claire and this is my channel Stitch Home Sew. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am taking part in the vlogger tour for the sewing challenge called #SewFrugal25. Now I'm sure you're all very well aware of the challenge. It is in its 4th or 5th year I think, and it is hosted by the amazing Ruanne from the Yorkshire Sew Girl and the wonderful Sam from Frugalissima, and the idea is that we be more frugal with our sewing. So sew up a piece of fabric that's in your stash, so something that you haven't bought this very recently. Sew up a free pattern, so something that is readily available on the internet for anybody. So it can't be from a book or a magazine or something, it needs to be something that you can download. Make your item in the month of March and post your item over on Instagram on the 31st of March using that hashtag SewFrugal25, and of course tagging in the Yorkshire Sew Girl and Frugalissima. So it's really simple, really easy to take part in. Now there's been, as I say, there's been a whole vlogger tour, so loads and loads of other videos for you to check out. So if you go over onto Sam's channel Frugalissima, she has done a wonderful playlist of all the people that have come before me, so do check that out. Now I am sharing my video today, and I'm going to grab my notebook so I make sure I get these names right. So I am sharing my day today with Sweet Pea Sewing, and yesterday we had the lovely Marissa, one of my good friends, the Umbrian Sewist, and the wonderful Seaside Sewist. And tomorrow you can catch Sew and Snip and Sewing with Deb. So a great way to find new vloggers. I've certainly found some new vloggers throughout this tour, so that's just brilliant. And yeah, do check out all the other videos and all the other inspiration out there. So before I get started, I'll talk about what I'm wearing, because actually it is a free pattern. So I've got 8 patterns to share with you today, and then technically one more, so 9. So this pattern is by Rivet Patterns, and this is the Heather Daily Tea. This is a fab pattern actually, and I don't know how widely known it is within the sewing community. I seem to be stumbling over my words, so I do apologise. So this pattern has a really good size range, goes from a bust from 30 to 31 right up to 58 to 59. It comes in, you can do it in short, elbow, 3/4 length and long sleeve. There's a crew neck option, a scoop neck, and then a lower scoop neck, so really good. And it also has kind of a regular bust and a full bust adjustment already done for you, so fantastic. So really great amount in a free pattern. So I have made the long sleeved, I'm not sure whether this is the scooped or the lower scooped. I made this a little while ago. If I'm honest with you, I don't wear this one quite so much because I haven't done the greatest job in putting this neckband in. It's a little bit pulley. Now that is no reflection on the pattern itself, more the fact that this fabric doesn't have massive sort of stretch, and I should have just made that neckband just slightly longer, so don't let that put you off this wonderful pattern. But yeah, that one is well worth checking out. Now whilst we're talking about tops, I might as well talk to you about 2 other tops that I have found, some of these patterns when I was looking into I have made, some of them I haven't made but I have heard of, and some have piqued my interest, shall we say. So the first pattern up is the Helen's Closet Lunar Tank. Now this is a great sort of summery make, perfect for that warmer weather. And it as it says on the tin, it is a tank top, but it's kind of got a swingy feel to it, and you can either make it in a kind of quite a cropped length or a slightly longer length version, and so it's really breezy and lovely, and would be lovely in like a viscose jersey or a bamboo jersey or something with a little bit of drape. Now funny story to this particular version, when I got into sewing garments, I was very much listening, and I actually still do listen to the podcast that Helen does, and for that it's gone out of my mind. So Love Post podcast. I've got that wrong, but I'll pop it along the screen. And she was talking about her lunar tank that she'd bought out. So I saw this pattern, thought lovely, free pattern, that's worth a go. Saw that it said viscose. Well, I thought viscose woven. I didn't realise it was any different. So I actually ended up making this in a woven fabric. Actually worked surprisingly well. I don't still have it in rotation in my wardrobe, but for the fact that it was, I think it was the first garment I'd ever made, and I didn't make it in the right fabric, yeah, it went okay. So yeah, but it's a great pattern, as always, really size inclusive, as are all of Helen's patterns. Goes from a 0 to a size 34, so great. And as I say, perfect for those lovely drapier jersey fabrics. Now moving on to the second pattern, and that is the I Am Patterns Blandine top, which is actually a top or a dress. So this can be made in woven or in jersey, so that's great. I love the fact of its versatility. Quite a simple design, different sleeve options. You can have like a turn up cuff option, sort of just a straight hem on there, or there's an option to put elastic in there as well. There's some really gorgeous versions, and I'll pop some of those images up on the screen for you. But I like the fact of how they've styled it differently. So you've got a very simple t-shirt down to what is quite a glitzy, glam, sparkly number that they've done, which I just think is brilliant. I mean, it's great that it has such versatility, and I love the version as well where they've nipped it in with a belt. So for some of us where actually showing you've got a bit of a waist actually helps in our proportions, yeah, I really liked that. So yeah, I think this is a fabulous pattern and well worth checking out. This is probably the least inclusive of the patterns that I am sharing today. It has the top bust measurement is a 44 7/8 of an inch, but the finished bust measurement for that same size is 52 3/4 inches. So it has got a reasonable amount of ease in. So it may be that actually if you're just outside of the body measurement range, you might find that actually it still works for you. So I still wanted to include this one because I just think the sort of the versatility, particularly the fact that you can make it in a woven or in a stretch, is just fabulous. So that takes me on to a couple of dress patterns that I wanted to talk to you about. Now the first one is the Fleon Patterns Freya dress, and I just think this one looks fabulous. It's got a little sort of notch detail here. It's got no sleeves on. You pull it in at the waist with some little tie bits, but it's got no tricky fixings, so no zips or buttons, which I just think looks lovely. And you can adjust that waist to cinch it in as much as you like. So I think that would be really great for a spring summer make. And that's obviously what the patterns that I'm talking about today are focusing on, sort of perhaps patterns that are more appropriate for our spring and summer wardrobe, well, those of us that are in the Northern Hemisphere anyway. So a little bit more detail about that pattern. Just be careful, because I believe that the seam allowances are not included on the actual pattern, so you'll need to include those when you're cutting it out, and I believe that it only comes in an A4 rather than an A0 print. But there are some print surfaces that will do like a piecing together scenario, so if you're not into cutting and sticking, then that might be an option. But also good to say that there's actually, I think, only 24 pages, so it's not one of the sort of monster ones to put together, so I don't think that's too bad. So moving on to the next dress pattern, and I have picked the Peppermint Magazine Everyday Dress. Now I think this is a pattern that is not talked about very much in the sewing community, and I wonder whether it's to do with the image that they've used. No offense to the model that is in it, but she doesn't look particularly happy, and I think that the grey perhaps doesn't draw so much of us in. But I think if this was made in a bolder colour or in a print, I think this one would look really nice. I think it'd be really easy to wear dress, particularly in the summer. You can cinch that waist in if you want to, or you could just have it without, or as much as you want to kind of tie it round you. So I think it would be an great easy one to wear. It would be perfect if you're on holiday, you can just sling it over a swimming costume or something, but also you could wear it to dinner, and you could wear it if you're not on holiday as well. I think this one looks really great. This is one of Peppermint Magazine's older patterns. There still is the option to get this pattern for free, but of course if you wanted to make a donation to them, they do a sort of pay as much as you like type scenario as well. So this pattern, like most of them that I've spoken about, has a pretty good size range, going from a 29.5 or quarter inch bust up to a 31 5/8, and there is sort of about 10 inches of ease in this pattern. So depending on how much ease you prefer in a garment, you might wish to size down, but that's just something to look out for. So moving on to my next pattern, and I have chosen the Little Pomegranate Sabina skirt. This was a pattern that was in the sewing community a few years ago now that was really popular, and I think it is a really lovely pattern. Very simple to make, but has got a couple of nice design features. So it's an elasticated waist skirt. It's got some nice pocket details in, and I believe those are kind of a slanted pocket design, which I always think look quite nice. They don't add the same sort of bulk as perhaps just an inseam pocket can create. And again, this has got a good size range on of a waist of 25 right through to 51 inches. So really good. You can do it with a ruffle on the bottom or without. You could do this long or short. You can pick your size. I think it's styled as kind of a midi or even a maxi, but you could easily make it into a midi or even a shorter, much shorter skirt. Same principle, just cut it off shorter. I think that one would be really useful in anybody's wardrobe. And the next one is the Maison Fauve Grenadine skirt. Now this is a mini skirt, but you could easily extend this skirt down. It would make it slightly more A-line than it's designed, because it is kind of coming out. I think they describe it as a trapeze skirt, but I think we would call it an A-line skirt. So it would just make it slightly more A-line if you extended it down. I think this is a really gorgeous little pattern. It's got some a piping detail that you can do across the front. I just think adds a little extra. It's got a zip at the back, and I just think this one could look really nice in a denim. They've styled it a lot with a sort of jacquard type fabric, but I think this one could be really versatile. And whilst I'm talking predominantly about spring and summer makes, this one could easily go throughout all of the seasons. In the winter you could pair this with tights and boots, and it would look great as well. So this one I think has got some great versatility to it. It has got, again, a good size range on it, going from right up to a hips of 66.5. So yeah, properly good size range on that one, and well worth checking out. So the next pattern up is a trouser pattern, or a pants pattern if you prefer, and it is called the Mood Society Live Pants. And this pattern looks totally wearable. It's more of a slim leg design, not like a really fitted design, but a slimmer leg as opposed to a wide leg trouser. It's elasticated waist and it's got these slant pockets on, which I rather like. Very simple design, looks like it will come together super quick, and it again has a good size range. So the waist measurement goes from a 23 right up to a 51.5 and hips of 34 up to 63.5. So really good, and I think this would be lovely made in lovely linen or a cotton fabric, but equally you could make it in pretty much any fabric you wanted to. I think a fabric with a little bit of drape would work better and also would be less bunchy around at the waist with that elasticated waist. So the next pattern up is the Sinclair Harper cardigan. Now I have made this pattern a number of times, so I can totally vouch for it. It is a fabulous free pattern because there are just so many options. You can make it in 3 different lengths. So you've got a crop length, you've got a sort of a hip length, a longer line length, and then a duster length. So just great. You can do like a hemband on the bottom, or there is a split hem option too. So just a great variety for a free pattern. Sinclair patterns are brilliant in their instructions, and they also do different lengths in terms of your size. So if you're a petite or a regular or a tall, those options are already done for you. For me, I always have to add length to patterns, and I didn't have to do this with the Harper cardigan, which I have to say is an absolute luxury. And how fabulous to get that all included free in the pattern. I just think that free patterns are fabulous. It's so amazing that all these designers give away their work for free, but it's a great way of trying a pattern company's block, seeing whether you like their instructions, that sort of thing, getting a feel for them as a pattern company. So I think that's why they do it, and I am totally on board for that. I just think it's fabulous. So this challenge is brilliant. I have taken in part in it every single year. The first year I was just taking part in it, and I think every other year I've taken part in it in terms of making an item, but also been part of the blogger tour. So I just think if you are on the fence about joining in, then why not check out one of these free patterns and sew up something gorgeous for your spring and summer wardrobe. Huge thank you to Ruan and Sam for hosting this challenge. I know how much work goes in behind the scenes to these challenges, so thank you so much, ladies. You are brilliant. A massive thank you also to all of those companies that are sponsoring this challenge. You are in a chance of winning a prize. They are randomly drawn, so everybody is in the chance of winning. It's not a case of whose make is best, randomly picked, and there are a whole load of companies, wonderful small businesses, who are supporting this challenge, and I'll put some images up of their logos, etc. But Sam and Ruan will have much more details in relation to this too, so do check out their channels as well and their Instagrams to find out more information. Don't forget to check out all the other sewing vloggers. Do get behind this challenge. Do let me know what you are planning on making and if you are taking part. I haven't yet to decide. So my vlog comes out on the 22nd of March, and as yet I have yet to decide which of those patterns I'm going to make. It might have to be one of the more simpler ones at this stage of the game, which is why I have not shown you any particular fabrics. But if any of those patterns have caught your eye and you think, Claire, you must sew that up, please do let me know in the comments below. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on those patterns. If you've got any questions, please do let me know also in the comments below, and I will try and come straight back to you. And I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by. If this is your first time in finding me, you are so very welcome, and I do hope you'll consider subscribing. A massive thank you to everybody that has already subscribed to the channel, and if you have enjoyed this video, please do give me a like. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will join me for the next video. Take care. Happy sewing. Bye bye.